Should Scotland leave the UK and should Texas leave the United States? I understand that in these areas there are many people who are separatists and they believe that they could separate from the integration or from the federal government and prosper. Now, the UK is not a part of it's not integrating into Europe. And apparently, the Antichrist wants Britain and everybody in Europe to become one entity. But apparently, because Britain doesn't want to, they're now trying to get Scotland to secede. And so I'm not sure what they're trying. Maybe they're trying to press UK to join in. And of course, in America, they're trying to get Texas and other states to consider sort of independence and separation so that they could create a snowball and probably damage the United States. But I think that in both the UK and America, there seems to be a problem with education because, I mean, these things are scientific. You don't have to have a personal view on this. There is a truth about it. And sometimes you do things thinking it's going to work and it fails. And then you should have been able to see that it would fail from the start if you had thought of it carefully. Like trying to rob the bank. You should know that you might be shot or be arrested or both and go to jail. So you would think that maybe that's not a good idea. Now, you can look at whether the UK should let Scotland go on the United States Texas. I think California is ranked, if it were a country, about the fifth largest economy in the world. And look how many countries there are that are big, that you would expect to have big, sort of GDP. France, Italy, Germany, Britain, Russia, the United States itself, Canada, Mexico, Japan. I've already called 8. And so somewhere here, California would be 5th. Okay, I'm not sure with Scotland how they rank and so forth, what's their GDP, etc. But there are several illustrations to show this is foolhardy. For example, the units of a whole are not as powerful as a whole. So here you have 2 old ladies. Each could lift 50 pounds. So that's 100 pounds that you could lift together, individually. I mean, together, technically. But each could lift 50 pounds. But let's say 150 pounds something would fall on their grandchildren. Guess what? They will be able to lift that 150 because they're together. But each could have only lifted 100, but the 2 of them might be able to lift 150 and get that thing off the child. Now, I know there will be some divine help a lot of times, but synergism is the word. More people could do a lot more than they could do added up individually. And so Texas might think that, well, we're so big and everything else. But look, the reality is, when you become a country, the game changes. And California and Texas might be doing well simply because they're part of the United States. And the United States has clout and has influence in the world and is given preferential treatment. And it happens that many of the products that are needed are manufactured in California and in Texas. So they have a great GDP. But if they were to separate and become individual countries, now they have to establish their own currency. They have to be able to secure markets, raw materials, and whatever they were having from the United States is going to be out. Because there may be another state which will try to sort of do the business that California was doing. And same thing in the UK. It's not going to work because why? Okay, say California is the 5th in the world's, as it stands. If California were to separate, they'll find that they will shift from 5th maybe to 25th. And then they're going to discover that, oops, we made a big one here. We got to go back and see if we can get back in. And then that's going to be another game. And so why even think of separating? I mean, don't you love your country? And in spite of the difficulties, I mean, black people aren't saying, we're going to secede because we're not being treated right. We can go back to Africa. Folks are hoping that treatment will improve and things will improve, and you were born here and you want to love the country, you want to do the best. And so I think Scotland and Texas and all other places that are seeking to break away from their federation should really consider it carefully, because it's not as easy as that. I mean, this would be a kind of extraordinary illustration. Like Haiti broke away from France, and Europe and France friends decided to isolate Haiti. And today, Haiti is the poorest nation in the hemisphere. So that if California and Scotland were to secede, and UK and American influence still exist, and without even campaigning, people decide that we still want to stay with UK, we want to still stay with America, so we're going to buy products that we're getting from California and Scotland from the UK and America. So, I mean, the people who are talking like this, they don't seem to have a broad picture of the whole thing. They might be just somebody who did some economics or somebody interested in some politics, and they think in terms of, oh yeah, we'll do so great, we'll be able to do better because other small places are pulling us down, holding us back. No, it's going to be worse. And it's like right now becoming independent. Almost every places, all opportunities are sort of taken right now. And people who think in terms of, oh, the world is so great, there are a lot of opportunities out there, to step out and go after it, man, you'd be amazed to find that it's not like how you see it. And while you're with your federation, it looks easy. But when you're on your own, you have to establish your own currency, you have to establish your whole military, have your own planes and means of transportation and so forth. It would be brutal. And I don't think the world has enough time for that. So I would recommend to Texas and to Scotland that they look at it carefully and see how quickly they could descend into nothing and into chaos, and then looking like a poppy show, like a dog show there. Everybody just, wondering what kind of people were thinking like, oh, we could do it, we could just go and it's going to be great. And so I don't see how they could think like that, because, I mean, it's scientific. You could do the economics, you could do the politics, you could look at everything, and you will see that beyond that, there is something else called sort of preferential treatment, prestige, respect, and you won't get that so quick. And by the time it takes you to get that, man, the citizens are so, because California has a large population, maybe one of the largest states in America, and those people are going to get impatient right away. You have to have a passport and visa to go over to Arizona and to go over to Nevada, and when things start to slip, folks want to slip out of there. At one time, maybe people start going over there because they think, oh, this is going to be so great. But when things are moving the way they expect, they're going to start going back, and others are going to want to leave. So that wouldn't be a very pretty situation.